Did you know music is one of the oldest forms of entertainment? People started creating music about 35,000 years ago and haven't stopped ever since. My name is Ethan DeFrisco, and today I'll be talking about some of the most influential musicians of all time. These musicians I talk about may have influenced the very music you listen to today. This topic is very close to me because I'm in a band that has hopes of creating music. We are influenced by various artists throughout the years and hope one day we can make music. The artists I'll be talking about today include the Beatles, Nirvana, and Dr. Dre. I'll be talking about some of their songs and their influence on the music industry. The first band I'll be talking about took over the world in an event called Beatlemania. The Beatles released 13 studio albums, and each one of them had a specific different sound. There was 4 members that made up the band. The first member was John Lennon. He played the rhythm guitar and he sang most of the Beatles songs. The next member was Paul McCartney. He played the bass guitar and he sung all the songs that John Lennon didn't sing. Together they would make up a writing partnership called Lennon-McCartney, and they would go on to write all the Beatles songs. The next 2 members were George Harrison and Ringo Starr. George played lead guitar, and he created some of the most memorable solos of all time. The next member, Ringo Starr, played the drums. He was often overlooked in the band, but he was good at keeping time with the music, which was especially hard at the time because click tracks didn't exist. When the famed singer and songwriter Elvis Costello was asked about the Beatles in a Rolling Stones article, he had this to say: "Every record was a shock when it came out. Compared to rabid R&B evangelists like the Rolling Stones, the Beatles arrived sounding like nothing else. They had already absorbed Buddy Holly, the Everly Brothers, and Chuck Berry, but they were also writing their own songs. They made writing your own material expected rather than exceptional." The Beatles have been broken up for about 48 years now, and even now their influence is seen. They released a song that was never released before from back in the day, and it hit number 1 in the charts, which just shows their influence they still have over the scene. Nirvana have noted that they too were inspired by the Beatles, and they were going to become a big pioneer of their genre, grunge rock. The band would only release 3 studio albums, but with these albums, they became very well known. The band consisted of 3 members. The first member was Kurt Cobain. He played lead guitar and sang all their songs. He had a special voice that many people can't replicate to this day. The next member, Chris Novoselic. He played bass guitar and would create some really different bass riffs that were very different at the time because many rock bass players would just kind of play copycats of the guitars. So you would create special bass lines that would differ very, very, a lot. They would go through many drummers, but then when they finally settled on Dave Grohl, many people may know him because after Nirvana, he would go on to create the band The Foo Fighters, where he played lead guitar and wrote many of the songs and sang. In an article about Nirvana's reference by Far Out magazine, they mentioned that Nirvana kicked off the big bang of grunge music that also thrust their Seattle peers such as Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Pearl Jam all into the limelight, crystallizing the scene as it now had come to be known as one of the biggest musical and cultural groundswells in music history, a decade-defining moment. Nirvana made the world look closer at a specific place that was not known for music. They would create many popular songs such as Come As You Are, Heart-Shaped Box, and About a Girl, but they would have their most success when they created the song Smells Like Teen Spirit, which would take over the world. The next artist I talk about, Dr. Dre, when he was asked about his favorite rock bands, he put Nirvana up as one of his favorite ones. Dr. Dre also only had 3 studio albums, but many of the songs on those albums become classic songs that many people, hip-hop classics. He became famous first with the group NWA, but after leaving that and joining Death Row Records, he would then release his first studio album, The Chronic, which became very popular. After leaving Death Row Records, he would go on to create his own record company called Aftermath Entertainment. On his own label, he released 2 more albums, his album 2001 and Compton, which performed very well. Dre's specialty was mixing and mastering music. He had a unique style that many people tried to copy, but they couldn't. He also signed many popular artists. When Kanye West, another popular rapper, was asked about Dr. Dre in a Rolling Stones article, he said, "Do hip-hop producers hold Dr. Dre in high esteem? It's like asking a Christian if he believes Christ died for his sins." Dre has a whole coast on his back. He discovered Snoop, one of the two greatest living rappers, along with Jay-Z, and signed Eminem, 50 Cent, and The Game. He takes artists with great potential and makes them better. I wonder where I'd be right now if Dre discovered me. Dre was kind of a puppet master in the rap game. If he wasn't making hits for himself, he was making hits for somebody else. If he wasn't signing a specific artist, he was still definitely influencing them. All three of these artists have left a lasting influence on their specific genre. The Beatles took what they were listening to and changed it into a never heard before experience. Nirvana took a genre that wasn't as popular and rose it to fame. Dre put out 3 popular albums and discovered some of the best rappers alive. These artists have all pushed the music scene in a way people have not predicted. Their contribution will never be forgotten and will be talked about for all time. Thank you.